We're constantly bombarded with one specific idea of what fitness looks like. But today, we're going to dive into a totally different story. It's one that comes from biology, from psychology, and it reveals some genuinely surprising advantages of having a larger body. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's start with a phrase we've all heard a million times: survival of the fittest. When I say that, what pops into your head? I'm guessing it's probably something lean, fast, maybe ripped. But what if that's not the whole story? Not even close.
See, in biology, fitness means something very, very specific, and it has nothing to do with six-pack abs or running a marathon. It's all about how well you fit your specific environment. A polar bear is incredibly fit for the Arctic, right? But it would be hopelessly unfit for the Sahara Desert. It all comes down to one crucial word: context.
So, to really get this, we've got to do a little time traveling. Let's rewind the clock and look at the world our bodies were actually designed for, the challenges they were built over millennia to overcome. From an evolutionary point of view, body fat is nothing short of a genius survival tool. Seriously, you can think of it as this incredible, built-in, high-density battery. And for our ancestors, having that battery gave them a massive advantage when food was scarce, which, let's be honest, was most of the time. I mean, look at this. It's like you're about to go on a really long road trip through the middle of nowhere. Which car would you rather be in? The one with a full tank of gas that can go for weeks, or the one that's basically running on fumes? It's a no-brainer, right? One is ready for the long haul, the other, well, not so much. And get this, that battery is a multi-tool. It's not just storing energy, it's also your own personal built-in thermal wear. Adipose tissue is a fantastic natural insulator, helping us keep our core body temperature stable. Super useful for, surviving an ice age. So what this all boils down to is that for the vast majority of human history, life was a long game. It was all about surviving periods of scarcity and intense environmental stress. And those individuals with better energy storage, well, they were just better equipped to play and win that game. Okay, so that's the ancient history. But how do these old-school survival traits actually play out today, in our modern world? Well, when we look at the clinical data, things get really interesting. Now, this is where things might seem a little counterintuitive, and it might go against a lot of what you've heard before. But when we actually look at the data, a much more complex and, frankly, fascinating picture starts to emerge.
It's something called the Obesity Paradox. And yeah, it's called a paradox for a reason. It sounds backward, but a number of studies have found that for older adults especially, having some extra weight can actually be protective. It provides this crucial energy reserve to help them fight off a serious illness or bounce back from a major surgery.
And it's not just about the energy reserves. There are direct physical protections too. As you can see here, carrying more weight is like giving your bones a constant workout, which leads to higher bone density. Plus, you've got this natural, built-in padding that helps cushion your vital organs from impact. Okay, imagine your body is fighting off a really bad infection. It is an all-out war that requires a tremendous amount of energy. Now, if you don't have fat reserves to burn for fuel, your body has to do something pretty drastic. It starts breaking down its own muscle tissue. Having that reserve prevents that from happening. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? It puts everything into perspective. You can just look down the columns, famine, cold, physical trauma, and you see this really clear pattern emerge. A body with more reserves is, in many critical ways, simply more resilient against a whole range of challenges. But hold on, because we're not just talking about the physical side of things. The advantages we're exploring here, they extend into the psychological realm too. It's like having a different kind of armor. I mean, think about it. If you're constantly navigating a world that has some pretty narrow and, frankly, unrealistic beauty standards, you have to develop a certain kind of inner strength. This can forge what you might call psychological armor. We're talking deep emotional resilience, sharp coping skills, and a sense of self that isn't so easily shaken. And there's another interesting social perception that often comes into play. Research has shown that larger people are frequently perceived as being less threatening or maybe more nurturing and approachable. And this can actually help lower social barriers, especially in first encounters. And hey, let's not forget about pure functional strength. Just think about it. The simple act of moving a larger body through the world day in and day out builds a really significant base of muscle. The source material calls this a strength floor, and it's often way higher than that of a smaller person. It's also so important to remember that adipose tissue isn't just some passive storage unit. Not at all. It's actually an active endocrine organ.
That means it's producing hormones, it's playing a vital role in your body's chemistry, it helps store crucial vitamins, and can even impact how certain medications work in your system.
Okay, so we've looked at evolution, we've looked at modern medicine, we've touched on psychology. So what's the big idea here? What's the final takeaway we should be walking away with?
The core message is actually pretty simple. Strength is not one size fits all. No biological trait is just inherently good or bad all on its own. There's just no single definition of a strong or fit body that works for every single person in every single situation.
Ultimately, it all comes back to that word we started with, context. Whether we're talking about surviving a famine, fighting off an illness, or just navigating a complex social world, different bodies are optimized for different challenges. The environment is what gives our traits their meaning and their value.
And that leaves us with one last and I think really important question to chew on. If our fitness is truly defined by our environment, then maybe the real question isn't how can we change our bodies to fit the world, but rather, how can we start changing the world to fit all of our bodies?